All right, Lions 49'ers NFC Championship game less than 24 hours away. The hype is real. I think personally this is going to be a classic football game, one for the ages. For people who don't really understand this Detroit Lions team, haven't really watched a whole lot of us, you've gotten a glimpse of it, I believe, in some of the primetime games where, if I'm not mistaken, this team is undefeated in prime time now, going back over the past couple years.
One
This is a
loss.
tough, yeah, one, yeah.
Hmm.
This is
Hmm.
a tough, gritty football team with talent. I think sometimes when people discuss this Lions team nationally, they throw gritty out there and dog and heart, and they leave out the fact that this team does have some talent, some high end young talent at that, tight end, wide receiver on defensive side of the football. But they're not still seemingly getting the respect that I think a lot of us around the town of Detroit feel like they deserve.
Hmm.
Why is that, in your estimation?
Yeah, I just think like we've been saying all year, man. I think it's because of the helmet. You know what I'm saying? They see the Lions logo and they just, automatically think of losing. You know what I'm saying? Losing. We've had some great players in our history. You know what I'm saying? Walt, but I don't think, winning championships or even winning division championship, conference championships, and we all know that's the name of the game. You know what I'm saying? And I think because we haven't done those things until this year, I think that's why, you hear some of the experts per se, wink wink, experts on TV, and we hear them constantly, like granted, everybody's got their opinion. They can think what they want. You can say, free country. You can, if you don't think the lines are good, that's fine. That's your opinion. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to be right or wrong. But to answer your question, I think, and then a lot of these cats play like LaShawn McCoy hates on the Lions big time. I just named him because he first I think of my top of my head, and he played against the Lions, right? And they was horrible when he played against the Lions. You know what I'm saying? So in his mind, that's the only thing he knows. Like, you know what I'm saying? That the Lions were never good. So I think him being on TV just adds fuel to the fire, just to say, you know what, this team, they not serious, or they don't have a history. Like the Patriots got a history. They had a horrible season this year. You know what I'm saying? But the Patriots, they not. Yeah, they've been losing the last couple of years, but they're not a losing franchise. You know what I'm saying? The Patriots are the symbol of winning championships. So maybe another 10 years if they start keep losing, then you might say, that
10
that was the
years?
yeah. Well, I'm saying
Them boys got another 2 years before they right back to the bottom of the basement.
yeah. Well, I just mean like you go off of Brady and Belichick, and you say, man, they got championship pedigree. Every team has a time when it's over. You know what I'm saying? And I think that you know now we see Belichick not even coaching or anything like that because other teams have moved in a different direction. But
But have you ever noticed that with most of these teams, when it's over, it's always over when the quarterback leaves?
yeah, yeah,
He either leaves via free agency, via trade, or he just retires.
yeah,
The
and
Steelers,
that's the
look, the
big.
Steelers been reeling ever since Ben left.
Yeah, and that shows you how important the quarterback position is. I mean, I think it has changed to. I think it's more of everybody doesn't have to have the same quarterback to be successful. You know what I'm saying? But I do think that if you do have one, and he's a anchor for your franchise, yeah, it matters. Like you said, man, if the quarterback leaves, and let's be honest, I mean, just like Russell Wilson, he left Seattle and I mean, yeah, Geno Smith had a couple decent seasons. Last year was better than this year, but they're not the same Seattle Seahawks. You know what I'm saying? That we were used to seeing that was winning, playoff games and stuff like that. So, when we get to this matchup this week, I think this is another perfect example. Like in the AFC, those quarterbacks in the AFC are known commodities. I think this game is on a different you know entity by itself because we got Brock Purdy and listen, Mr. Irrelevant. I'm not gonna. The only reason why I say that is because that's the number he was drafted, and which I do think he surpassed that. We know he's a guy that has some ability, but I don't think I'm coming to this game, Walt. If you was to tell me I got one game to go to the Super Bowl, regardless of where it's on the road or at home, and I got to beat Brock Purdy to get to the Super Bowl, I would do. I would have took that at the beginning of the season all day long if you would have told me that. If this team, the Lions, going to have one game against Brock Purdy, you win that game, you go to the Super Bowl, dude. I would take it, and I think that Aaron Glenn would take it. I think Dan Campbell would take. I think Ben Johnson. I think these guys, man, are totally ready for this game, man. I don't see a scenario in this game where I think it's going to be just like you said. I think it's going to be a tight game. I think it's going to be like more the Dallas game that we so called lost against the Cow. I think it's going to be nip and tuck. I think it's going to be close. I think it's going to come down to who can make some plays in the fourth quarter. It's winning time. You gotta, move the chains. I trust Amon-Ra St. Brown in that situation on a 3rd and 6, 3rd and 7. When you need it, he gonna get it and provide it. I think that Jahmyr Gibbs. I think he's a guy that I think gonna ice the game for us in the fourth quarter. I really do. I think Montgomery's gonna be the guy that starts it, gain some traction, but I think Gibbs is going to be the guy that really like brings it home for us, man, and sends us to the Super Bowl. That's how I feel. I really do. I like the matchup. I don't think it's a mismatch like some people would say. I really don't, man. We could go player for player, Walt, both sides of the ball, and it'll be damn near a toss up or who's the better player. You know what I'm saying? On some positions, not the ones like McKivich and Awasika. We know those guys are like not the great. Like what's his name, McKivitz for the 49ers. Walt, I seen the stat yesterday. He's given up 10 sacks this year for the 49ers. You know what I mean? I think my eyes pop in the back of my head when I see that. I'm like, wow, okay, yeah, he's starting for them, and they're supposed to have this great offensive line. They're supposed to have all these great players. You got a guy on your line that giving up 10 sacks, dude. That's a red flag right there to me. You know what I'm saying? So, um, yeah, I mean, Walter, did the culture, to get back to your question. Sorry, I was rambling too long, but to get back to your question about the Lions as a team, I think they've changed all that. You know what I'm saying? I really do. In one season, I really do think that they've changed it. That they've changed all the culture about the perception of this team. And then let's be honest. Let's just say, even though I don't think this, I don't think they're going to lose. But let's just say if they do lose, I think they have changed it. You know what I'm saying? I don't care what happens. I do care, but I'm saying if they lose, I think that perception is still gone. You know what I mean? I think going into next season, after we have the free agency and draft, I think people are really gonna say, man, the Lions do all they need is like 2 pieces, 3 pieces on defense or whatever, and they're gonna be in the Super Bowl. You know what I mean? Well, I don't think we're in the conversation now. Period. We're in the conversation.
Yeah, I mean, to piggyback off that, I think the one thing is that fans have to realize that the team is going to be different on a year-to-year basis. Considering the more you win, the harder these opposing teams come after your coordinators. Let's say Dan Campbell repeats in 2024, 2025 season. Let's say he repeats this type of success.
Yeah.
There's going to be teams that are going to start knocking on his door.
Yep.
Remember, he signed a 6-year deal.
Oh, excuse me. Yeah.
So the more success you have, and Lions fans aren't used to this. None of us are used to this. The more success you have, people start not people, but other organizations start cherry picking all of your talent. So you got to consistently draft well. It's not well enough to just draft pretty good your first 3 years. You got to keep drafting well because guys are going to want to leave too. You can't re-sign everybody. Everybody's not going to take below market value. That's not even part of the game. Yeah. So I think this offseason, with every year we've said that this current offseason is going to be the most important. Well, this current offseason coming up, I think is going to be the most important.
Yeah, we're going to lose some people this year. Yep.
Yeah, it's going to be tough because we've never been in this situation as a fan base where we every day when we turn on the news or we turn on ESPN or we get these alerts from Fox Sports or whatever on the cell phones, it's about one of our players signing with this team or sign in a offer sheet with this team the day or two before free agency actually starts. So this is going to be a huge offseason, man. We got money. That's the one
Yeah.
thing that helps you a lot in life.
Be in good shape. Be in good shape.
We got money. I think this free agency crop is better overall than last season's. You know, there's certain areas of need we can really capitalize off of, I think, in this free agent crop. Not
Yeah.
so much in the draft, because I think we can get a veteran, not to get too damn far off track, but I think that we can find a veteran. And by veteran, I mean young veteran, someone around 26, maybe 27 years old that can step in for a decent tag. Because none of these dudes right now that I look at on the free agent list, defensive tackle wise, none of those dudes are 14, 15, $16 million a year dudes.
Yeah. Yep.
So, and that's also an area that I think I wouldn't touch at number 30, which I think Detroit is picking at right now. I think the quality of defensive tackles are going to go a little earlier. So I feel like why reach at 30 for a defensive tackle that you could probably get mid-second round. But not to get too deep off into that shit.
Yeah,
Let me get
we
this
got
back on track. Get to these
because
injuries, man.
we got that show coming up, Walt. We got
George, hey,
yeah,
man, listen. You know me, man. You
yeah,
know
no,
me.
I know. Yeah, because
Oh.
no, what you're saying is right though. Only guy I'm thinking about, like you said, what if one last thing I want to add to what you said, and it's valid. It's a valid question right now. Like, okay, because if they lose, then we're gonna start thinking about it tomorrow. Like Jonah
Funny, this
Jackson.
question pops up.
Yeah, right here. Jonah Jackson is a guy that we may not bring him back. You know what I mean? That's a guy that we're gonna have to count for him. I'm thinking of Chauncey Gardner only signed 1 year. Willard Melifonwu will like, hey, I'm about to get paid. I'm about to go get because other teams gonna
He's
want
gonna get some offers
Melifonwu.
now. He's
Man,
gonna get some offers
Melifonwu,
now.
he might be gone. You know what I'm saying? Just
What
those
if
are just
somebody come and offer Liam McNeil something outrageous?
yeah, yep. Those are three guys right there. You know what I'm saying that we could lose, but I'm confident because now we got that Brad Holmes know what the hell he's doing. I'm confident that if those guys leave, you fire via draft, free agency, I think everything it'll be all right. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. Ben Johnson, you know what's interesting? Like I think Ahmed just put up there about Ben Johnson. I was thinking the same thing. He was on lockstep with me because I was thinking if the Lions, just say we win this game, which I expect to, and then go to the Super Bowl. I mean, it's two jobs openers left: Washington and what is Seattle, right?
Atlanta,
Now I've been hearing,
Atlanta hired Raheem Morris. You don't find that odd that Atlanta, they're like the fourth team to interview both of our coordinators and not hire neither one of them? Not
yeah,
to say that either one of our coordinators wanted the Falcon job, but it's weird because like that's a nice job. Arthur Blank spends money. Arthur Blank doesn't. He's like Jerry Jones without the Jerry Jones part of Jerry Jones. Like Arthur
yeah,
Blank he'll come down on the sidelines and watch games or whatever, but
yeah,
he doesn't intervene with shit.
yeah. He
You
hands
never
off.
you never see Arthur Blank in the media complaining about a damn thing. Like I said, he'll spend money and he knows they need a quarterback. So it seems, and Atlanta has a nice roster.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
surprised the Charger gig got filled before the Falcon gig. Even though as a head coach, if you take over the Chargers, you know you have a quarterback. But if I'm Atlanta, just thinking about that, as a head coach, you have to believe Arthur Blank knows that Desmond Ridder is the answer. So they know that they have to get a quarterback, but they're not going to get a quarterback sitting where they're sitting in the draft right now. So I just be trying to piece some of this together. Like maybe there's discrepancies on, well, I'll take the job, but you have to guarantee me that we're going to trade up to get one of these guys because I can't make it work with this dude.
yeah.
Or the dude that's behind him. So it's interesting, man. You know how we are with the draft, bro. All you gotta do is whisper the word draft, and we break out into a whole 5 or 6 minute segment on it. But let's jump into these injuries real quick, man. Jonah Jackson, as you mentioned a little while ago, dealing with that knee injury, did not practice all week. He's out. Khalif Raymond also dealing with a knee injury he suffered before the end of the season, did not practice all week. He's out. Hendon Hooker dealing with a tooth injury. I mean, not
Two.
not the two injuries.
Two,
Oh,
but dude, it's like, dude,
uh,
you gotta sleep with your mouthpiece in or something, man. You can't
this
be
man,
this.
this man got a root canal or something. I don't know. Whatever it is, it got him questionable, bro.
Yeah, you can't
Uh,
rattle. Hey, don't they head be rattling when they in the helmet? So maybe I don't know.
yeah, I don't know what the hell happened, but Chase Luke is dealing with an illness. Did not practice on Thursday. Limited on Friday. He's questionable. I think he has to play. We need him out there. All hands on deck.
Yeah,
Alexander Zaloni, shoulder, ribs,
yeah.
limited Wednesday and Thursday, full practice on Friday, unspecified. James, unspecified. Sam did not practice on Wednesday, limited on Thursday, full practice on Friday, unspecified. Frank, ankle
Toe,
toe.
knee.
Why they
Ank-
keep adding a slash
I
every
know.
single
uh,
week?
Ankle, toe, knee, back, dude. Frank Rag, man, Frank Rag now, dude, is like playing through
Next,
everything.
next week is gonna be eyebrows.
Yeah.
But yeah, man.
Oh man.
So that right there, man. I say I think everybody plays, honestly. Well, of
Hell
course,
yeah.
I mean Khalif, of course.
Yeah, and the
Khalif and
Jonas
Jonah and
Jackson.
Hendon ain't gonna play either, more than
Yeah.
likely. I think everybody else on this plays.
Hmm.
Definitely.
Yeah,
Um,
for sure.
do you think that there's going to be any lingering issues with these injuries that could have an effect on the outcome of the game?
No, the only one I remember Alex Anzalone was banged up in last week's game. I remember I noticed it on TV. You know, I wasn't at the game, but I noticed it on TV that he was a little bit banged up. So I don't know how far you know Anzalone a tough guy. He be out there, you know what I'm saying? But James Houston, I mean, is a guy he hasn't played all, you know what I'm saying, since week 2 or 3. And I don't know how effective he's gonna be. I'm glad he out there, you know what I'm saying, because to be a pass rusher, I mean, I don't think maybe to get his timing back, but I think that's something where he could still have that burst, even missing all that time. You know what I'm saying? Maybe game shape wise or game timing wise, it might take him a little while to get into the flow of the game. You know what I mean? But he's the only guy. You know what I mean? Sam Laporta, he's been playing the last couple weeks with that knee. And then Frank Ragnow, that's what he does. He plays with pain. So, and it was pretty much, Frank Ragnow was like, basically, ain't no way in hell I'm missing this game. You know what I'm saying? Y'all can keep bringing up my toe all you want. I'm not gonna miss this game. You know what I'm saying? So Frank want to go to the Super Bowl. I don't blame him. You know what I mean? They did what this team sees an opportunity, man. I really do think, and then too, I think the health wise is really lucky. We're really lucky to be in this spot where we haven't had any major. I mean, Khalif Raymond, that injury with Khalif Raymond hurt. You know, yeah, it's good. Tom mentioned. I was going to say that about Deebo Samuel. We don't have like a star guy on our offense that's a big part of it that's hurt. You know what I mean? Deebo Samuel is noticeably hurt for the 49ers. You know what I'm saying? We don't know how effective he's going to be, but I think the Lions aren't in that spot. You know what I mean? Shows you Sam Laporta got back.
Yeah.
You know, we were thinking he was going to miss the playoffs or maybe not come back to the Super Bowl, things like that. But Sam Laporta was out there the next week. So he was like the only guy that would have been like a major blow to our team. So yeah, I mean, I feel good about like where we at health wise, man, because we got everything lined up to go in there and win the game,
Well,
man.
I think also we provide the element of surprise now because if you're Frisco, you have defensively, you have no idea what to expect with Zach Ertz being out there. Zach Ertz could go out
Mhm.
there if he plays and suits up and plays some significant snaps.
Yeah.
Hurts could end up
Yeah.
with 5 catches, or
Yeah.
Hurts could end up with 2 catches, but make 3 or 4
Yeah.
key blocks.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then James Houston.
Yes.
If James Houston can
Excuse me.
give us 14 to 17 quality snaps, because I honestly believe if they needed him to play, like against the Rams, he probably could have went out there and maybe gave him 10 snaps. Then they looked at him last week against Tampa heading into that game and probably said, you know what, he's better, but he's only 5 to 8 snaps better.
Hmm.
This week, he should probably be a full 10 snaps better.
Yeah.
So that's something else that when Frisco goes back and they watch film on us, they don't see that. That doesn't pop up this year because he hasn't been here this year for the
Mm-hmm.
most part.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I agree with you. There's just a lot they got to deal with, man. I think it's a lot they got to deal with. And I want to get to the San Francisco 49ers part of this because there's some things I want to talk about, man.
Mm-hmm.
Nick Bosa, resting, of course, did not practice, not listed all week after Wednesday. Game status not listed. Debo, back, forth and forth all week with him, whether he was going to play, not play, going to play, not play. He's still here listed as not specified. I mean, as not listed. So we still don't know. Trent Williams been resting all week. That's what the veterans do. He's going to play, I'm sure. Eric Armstead dealing with a foot and knee. He had a full week of practice, not listed. Dre Greenlaw, Ambry Thomas, former Michigan Wolverine, Kalia Davis, and Oren Burks. Those last two both listed as questionable. Now,
Mm-hmm.
it's not so much for me whether or not guys play. Are you going to be effective while you're out there?
Yeah.
Because I understand all the veterans, all the true competitors at heart, the talented guys, the best players on the team, you're expected to play. This time of year, everybody's hurt. Every single player on that field got something that they got to have surgery on immediately at the end of the season.
Yeah.
So Frank, Frank in the middle of our offensive line versus Eric Armstead. I think that's going to be a major, major matchup right there. If Frank can handle Eric Armstead pretty much by himself, and I think that's what makes Frank Ragnow one of the best 2 or 3 centers in football.
Mm-hmm.
His ability to hold the line of scrimmage, not get bowled over. Frank's ability to hold the line of scrimmage and take on nose tackles one-on-one is what makes him great.
Mm-hmm.
That makes a hell of a lot. That makes the job a hell of a lot easier for the rest of those offensive linemen. When you have him being able to handle his guy one-on-one, Penei Sewell at right tackle being able to handle his guy one-on-one, Taylor Decker for a good 80% of the time, 85% of the time can handle his guy one-on-one. Now you have the ability to chip. You can help block.
Mm-hmm.
That's one big reason why I was never really that concerned with the San Francisco 49ers offensive line. Not offensive line, but their defensive line. Our offensive line, scheme-wise, we should be able to handle them. Lots of duo blocks. And we talked about this with the Rams. How are they going to shut down Aaron Donald? All you
Yeah.
got to do is duo block. And every time they ran that tackle and that right guard at him, they shut him down.
Yeah.
But the thing is, we don't have to do that with Frisco because Penei Sewell can handle Nick Bosa by himself. That's when he's matched up on him. Now, how often does Frisco plan on putting him on the same side as Penei Sewell? We don't know.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
we have the offensive line to neutralize that defensive line.
Mm. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I mean you know what, Walt, that's the one thing I think, like I said, we could hang our hat on as our team, because we know when we play. And somebody said something that I really liked yesterday that I did hear, and I think, and I was saying this about Brock Purdy. I said, well, to me, go, and then everybody who watching, go look at Brock Purdy's, like, look at San Francisco, every game they played, like the score from the situations he was in. He hasn't been any, all the games that they won, they pretty much smashed people. Like, if you look at the games, they won by more than 14 points. Okay. The games that they did lose, it was teams that got after them, made it uncomfortable, was close games. That type of pressure packed, where you have to make a play, those are the games I think that kind of get to them a little bit. You know what I'm saying? They kind of, like, pressure bust pipes. That saying. I think that if this game is close, I trust Jared Goff in his ability to be able to move up and down the field with purpose. Forget about everything that's happened. Okay, we know Goff has had some bagging, but he hasn't. Man, it's been a while since he's not played well, and I think right now that's irrelevant. Right now, I think all the negative stuff you could say about him is out of the window to me, because I think right now this is what these guys are playing for. You know what I'm saying? These guys have been playing their whole career, Walt, since Pop Warner to get to this point. You know what I'm saying? Jared Goff has been to the Super Bowl. Regardless, say what you want, he didn't win it, whatever, but he has been there. You know what I'm saying? And I trust that more than I trust like a guy that hasn't really had any pressure on him. Just look at the stats. The stats say that he's been out there in a lawn chair in the pocket, man, for most of the season. You know what I'm saying? And when you got Christian McCaffrey, I mean, that's a guy. Obviously, we know Christian McCaffrey can play ball, and we know he's going to be an issue, but something's got to give. I mean, I didn't realize the Lions didn't even give up a 100-yard rusher in like forever. You know what I'm saying? I could have swore Aaron Jones missed again. I thought AJ Dillon, somebody rushed over him, but maybe I was wrong. You know what I'm saying? We know damn near the last 6 weeks they haven't had one. Think about it. Those games in December where we played Denver, Minnesota twice, Chicago, Dallas. Running game was shut down. Them teams could not run the football on the Lions. So it's going to be interesting to see if Christian McCaffrey, if he can get off against the Lions, because I think if they able to just limit him, well, I mean, not stop him completely, it's going to be curtains for 49ers
I don't think
real
it's going
quick.
to happen. At least,
I don't know,
I'm going
man.
to say this, and this is a prediction, part of my prediction. When I look at Frisco and I look at Kyle Shanahan and I look at the versatility of Christian McCaffrey, even if we get the best of C-Mac early first quarter, early first half, Shanahan's bright and stubborn enough where he's not going to go away from it. Like the Rams went away from it. Even though I will say this, McVay tried to put up a fight, like, because McVay comes from that same mindset and ideology when it comes to how to run the offense. As much as McVay likes to throw the football, his offenses are predicated off running the football, just like Kyle Shanahan, just like in Atlanta. Atlanta had a bunch of talent on the perimeter, and I give them that. But remember, Michael Turner carried the ball a lot for that team. So even the most pass-happy offensive coordinator understands that the running game needs to be the main staple. As well as we throw the football, we're a run-first football team.
Yeah. I agree. And that's the one thing I trust. I do believe the Lions got to start off the game maybe with the lead, Walt, and then we can kind of dig in and play. You know what I'm saying? Play control, play. Even if we get down, I think one score. If you're down 7-0 or 3-0 is not really nothing to panic over. But if you're down 10-0, I think you could still stick true what you're trying to do. Yeah. I want to tell you, that's what I want to ask you, Walt. Like, let's just say if they do get down, that's the only scenario where I feel like Goff can't just continually throw the ball, then I think it will be some problems. You know what I'm saying? We have to stay with the run game. We have to. You know what I mean? It's key. And I think Montgomery is going to be a guy that we use him this week. I mean, remember last two games. I mean, I remember you text me in the Rams game. Like, why the hell?
You're not using Montgomery enough.
Yeah, so I think this week we need him. I think this is going to be the week he's got to set the tone, I think, early in the game. I think that's what Ben Johnson's been trying to do. But I think Gibbs, they needed, and he made the right call. Remember, we said that. He made the right call against Tampa, playing them more because they needed that speed to get kind of like what they needed to accomplish on offense. I think that's just been the problem with Montgomery. Sort of, he's straight line tough, get the tough yards, move the chains, but Gibbs can quick hit. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's what they was trying to do last week. So this week, I think you're gonna need both them guys, man, to win this game. You know what I'm saying? And the key and the $1 million question is Ben Johnson pushing the right buttons at the right time with these guys. And he has, for the most part, all season. He got to do it for 2 more games, man, or at least 1 more game for right now. You know what I'm saying? I wonder, Deebo Samuel, I wonder how effective is he going to be? You know what I'm saying? Like we were saying in the pre-show. What if he
none at all
takes
we already saw what happened. Oh,
you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So
I don't believe so. We saw what happened early in the season. Was that against Cleveland? He went out there and played. He went out there and tried to play with that shoulder injury, took 1 hit and left the game and never came back.
Yeah.
Yeah. And his game is predicated off physicality. He's not a burner. He looks for contact. That's the
Yeah.
wrong type of dude to be out there with a shoulder injury, man. I'm
Mhm.
not considering him like that. I mean, you got to respect him because he's on the field, and it's a one game playoff, and anything can happen. But I don't expect him to be that effective. I expect Ayuk to get a ton of targets and George Kittle. But if we
Yeah.
close the middle of the field on them, the same way teams like to close the middle of the field on us, and force this dude to just push the ball downfield all day,
Yeah.
now you got yourself a plan.
Yeah.
So I
What if
think limit the weapons.
No, I was thinking of this one. I'm thinking of this too. Like all of like we hear constantly Dan Campbell says like he tells his team like we built for this, right? He says, well, we're built for this moment, this time. And I do believe, man, that goes further than any X's and O's you can put out there for this game because he's right. Like remember you just looked it up like before we got on the air, you were saying all of these games that we won in prime time. This team's 22-7, I think, since they were 1-6 last year. That's huge, man. What was it? 10-4 on the road.
Yep.
Look, the only games we lost to Carolina when they had 300 yards rushing on us. We lost to uh, uh, Baltimore. We lost to Dallas. We lost to Chicago. Those are the only 4 games that we've lost the last 2 years on the road. So it shows you that this moment is not going to be too big for us, man. I mean, they've been through all. They've played Thursday night against the Chiefs and won. They played Green Bay Thursday night, beat in Lambeau. We won that game. You know what I'm saying? We played toe to toe with Dallas. We're really supposed to come out of that game with a win. So they've played in some tough games. Now they have, like I said, they've lost a couple tough games where you kind of scratch your head and was like, "What the hell
Well, they had the
happened?"
Saturday night game against Denver too.
Yeah, yeah, and
And
took
Denver
it.
was coming in with a whole lot to play for still
Yeah,
at that point in time, and they smashed them.
they smashed them. Yep. And like you said, Denver was playing good. I forgot about them. Played the Raiders on Monday night, and Raiders was gaining some steam. I think that was before they fired everybody, though. I think that was the game
Yeah,
they
yeah.
fired their coach after that one. So yeah, I just think that this team built for it. They played some pressure packed games last year. They beat the Giants. Giants was a playoff team last year. And at the time we played them, they were playing good football. We beat them. So, like I said, they played in cold weather. They've played in, it's just they've been in every situation. They had to go. Listen, the Chicago, give the Bears credit. I think the Bears and the Vikings and Dallas got us ready, man, for this run. I really think about it, y'all. Think about when we played Chicago, those 2 games. Remember, they damn near should have beat us at Ford Field. We won that game. Remember, Aiden got the safety at the end to kind of close that game out. Then we lost to Green Bay on Thanksgiving. I think towards the end of the season, then we lost to Chicago. We played them again. Remember, in December, they beat us. Then we had to win the division against the Vikings. We had to go on a roll, hostile environment, win that division. Remember, that was a close game to the end. You know what I'm saying? It's just been, if you think about all the games that we played, it's like it's good we didn't have no cakewalks because now I think excuse me, we ready for a situation where everything's on the line. And I think they've been playing like it for the last 4 or 5 weeks. You know what I'm saying? Sort of like with the Bengals. Remember the Bengals made it to the Super Bowl, Walt, and it was sort of like they had now they did a lot of it on the road. Now I can't say that I was more impressed about that Bengals team that made it to the Super Bowl because they had to win the games they won on another, on the opponent's home field. But this is gonna be the ultimate test, man. You don't get to this point to where, you're the Lions if you're not any good. The 49ers are good. They're not to this point. You don't get home field advantage throughout the playoffs and you're not good. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it just you get
Man,
to a
listen,
point.
they finished with the same record as us.
Yeah, yeah. We
That's
should
what, and
have we
that I
should have
keep
been
telling.
13-4. Yeah.
I just
Yeah.
keep telling people that, man. I understand. Well, they had their games. The same thing with Dallas. People get too caught up in these cool points and style points when it come to winning. Dallas played no one when they came to winning games. They played no one. And what happened when Dallas played real teams? They got smashed. They lost. What happened to Dallas the last month of the season? They lost the big boy games. They lost to Buffalo. They lost to Miami. They should have lost to us.
Mm.
And what did they do? They turned around and beat the Commanders.
Mhm. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
but but people assumed Dallas was better than us because they was winning sexier.
Yeah.
While we was winning tough, hard-nosed playoff type games,
Mhm.
Dallas was smashing cupcakes. That's what they was doing. And
Yeah,
people
yeah.
look at Frisco, they look at their roster, they look at Kyle Shanahan, and they just give them the benefit of the doubt. Them dudes finished 12-5 just like us.
Yeah.
They went through a 3-game losing streak, not like us. You ain't catch us losing 3 straight.
Nah,
You
we
ain't catch
haven't
us. We ain't lose 2 straight.
we haven't lost two straight in forever. Forever, dude, since last year, bro. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
So regardless of how people want to paint this picture of us or paint this picture of Frisco, them dudes ended up with the same record as us. They didn't win 14 games. They ain't go 15-2. Them dudes
Mm.
went 12-5, just like us. And they
Yeah.
here in the NFC Championship right with us.
Yeah, yeah. And you know, when you get to a point to where you realize how close we are. If we realize it, the Lions damn sure realize it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, remember what did Dan Campbell say at the end of the game? He said pretty much we got 2 games to play with a bye in the middle. Yeah, I mean that's their mentality. Like, hey, we going to win. I mean, it's not like, we go get a nice little trophy, a nice little award, nice little ribbon for making it to the 49ers. Y'all did good. I had a cute season. It's over. Come Sunday, it's over. I think that they got just as good a chance as anybody to win it all, man. I really do. Now you play the Ravens, that's something different. That's a whole nother conversation next week. Hopefully we be able to talk about it. You know what I'm saying? Ravens or the Chiefs. So yeah, and then we play both teams that's ironically playing in the other conference, you know what I'm saying? And it's some things that I've seen from both teams that I'm gonna really look close tomorrow. So to already know who we're going to play before we play, I think that not that that means anything to the Lions, but it's just a good way to get started and to know what we're up against. You know what I'm saying? The game we're getting ready to play tomorrow, and then possibly in the Super Bowl. So um yeah, but now what's your read, Walt, on the, like, I was just gonna say, we said this with Dan Campbell, right? We talk about situational football. Well, I think this is the biggest game he's ever going to coach. This year, well, since he's been here, just get game he's ever
With
had to
every
coach.
passing week, it becomes the biggest
Yeah.
game. So
So,
yeah.
Walt, let me ask you a question, bro. Are you worried? Like, not worried, but does it kind of like? Are you like, man? I hope his style, or do you think this moment is too big for him? You know what I'm saying? Or the team as a whole, or him? You know what I'm saying? Do you think the moment is too big for the coach and for the team?
I don't know. We won't find out till tomorrow evening, man. I mean, I think, and we talked about this before the video in the pre-show. Since that, what maybe the Bears lost
Mm-hmm.
at Chicago, that was probably the last time they were forced to actually have to make adjustments. The Dallas game was close and hotly contested, but what we were doing was working.
Yeah.
We just kept chipping away and chipping away and chipping away at Dallas, and we almost beat them in the last seconds. But we all know what happened that game.
Mm.
Um, you look at the Minnesota game; they were no threat, even though Justin Jefferson did what he did, but they were no threat to really win the game. The Rams with Puka Nacua and Stafford, they did what they did, but they were no serious threat to win the game. At least I felt once I saw the fact that they had those 3 empty those 3 empty red zone possessions where
Mm-hmm.
they should
Yeah.
have got touchdowns and
That was
instead
the
they got field
difference.
goals. I knew that
Yeah.
was the difference of the game.
Yeah.
Um, Tampa played us tough for 3 quarters. We went into the fourth quarter 17-17 tied up, but we pulled away and we kept chipping away at Tampa and wore the defensive front down.
Yeah.
So he hasn't been in a situation in over a month where he had to make adjustments. And I brought this up to you, like, so how do we view it? Because he could be, is the moment going to become too big for him in the sense of he gets caught up in the helmet. He gets caught
Mm-hmm.
up in who he's playing.
Mm-hmm.
and changes his complete style up, and Kyle Shanahan just stays true to himself, because we've seen situations this season with Baltimore, another maybe close to a handful of other games where he got kind of caught up in who he was playing more so than how the game was unraveling.
Yeah.
And that's what you have to do. You and I talked about the fact that he took the 3 points early against Tampa Bay. We're not used to seeing them do that,
Yeah.
you know. And I think it could come down to maybe four, hopefully not four, hopefully not four,
Yeah.
but three at the most.
No, you're
It should
right though.
count to like three
That's
at the
how it come
most
down.
for
Yeah. Yeah.
fourth down to situations. But like I said, we won't know until he gets out there. Um, we just hope the situation isn't too big for him. He's looked good. He's called two really good games, I feel, in the
Mm-hmm.
playoffs so far. So as long as he allows this game to unfold the way it's supposed to and just keep his finger on the pulse of it, they should be fine. If it's 6-3 at the end of the first quarter, it's 6-3. Don't get beside yourself. Don't get out of control and start doing all types of wild, crazy stuff. Um,
Yeah.
I don't want to see. It feels like desperation to me. I do not, on the very, very first play of the game, want to see a fake kickoff. I don't want to see on. I mean, not a fake kickoff. I don't want to see an onside kick.
Mm-hmm.
That
Yeah.
feels like you desperate
Mm-hmm.
doing
Yeah. You don't
stuff
have
like
to.
that.
Yeah.
Just
You don't
play
have
these
to.
dudes man up.
Right. Just
Get a
play. Just
trick
play.
play in here or there, but
Yeah. Yeah.
chill.
And I agree with you all. Only thing I can say, I must say, I don't think it's too. I don't think it's too big for him. I think that remember we was talking. I was just thinking like because we've been through it. You know what I mean? With him, we've been through him going for it a lot, and we've been in those situations. Remember, he did that against the Cowboys, bro. Remember that he went like we about to score even after the penalty and everything like that. He went for it two more
He
times
was
after that.
stubborn.
You know what I'm saying? What I'm saying is, I think that I don't think that, he's worried about. He's just like we said. He Dan Cameron kind of guy comes across anyway. I'm putting my guys out there. You put your guys out there, and you stop what we doing. If you stop us, then so be it. We deserve. Y'all win the game. Y'all get it. But I don't, man. I don't think he's gonna change anything. I just think that when that time comes, okay, if it is a 4th and 1 at our 40-yard line in the third quarter, I won't feel as uncomfortable because we've been through it. You know what I'm saying? And we've made it more times than not. You know what I'm saying? Look at him in our
What about the
30.
bad waves though? Like we had a bad wave against Baltimore and we didn't. We got drowned in it. We had a
Yeah.
bad wave Thanksgiving against Green Bay and they drowned us. We had a bad wave at Chicago and they drowned us. Now that's the one thing I will say. And you brought this up yourself for the pre-show. Like, how do they handle the bad moments? Like, what if Frisco jumps on the 17-0?
17-0.
Like,
Yep.
does
That's
does
gonna be
he
huge.
does he lose his mind and start doing all types of desperate shit and then start turning the ball over on downs because you went for it on 4th and 8 when you should have just kicked the field goal, or you should have just played field position and kicked the
Yeah.
ball
Punt
off?
the ball. Yeah. Hell
Yeah,
yeah. Yeah.
like how would he manage the game if things don't go our way early?
Yeah, I mean you're right, and that's the only thing. But I think that what we can hang our hat on is we can run the ball. But oh man, I worry. I'm too worried about Jared Goff in that situation because then you're gonna have to shotgun. They know it's coming passing wise. You're not setting up the pay. Remember, Jared Goff needs to set up the passing downs with the run. You know what I'm saying? And we constantly passing and trying to get back in the game in one play. I think that's where we're gonna get in trouble. Um, Dan Campbell's gonna be the same, and I think that's what's gonna make this game a nail biter. I think everybody in the city it's gonna be a nail biter to the end because he does play like that. Well, it's gonna be interesting to see, like you said, in the fourth quarter, if this game is tight. Like you said, I don't know. Like what like you said, what he will do. Like if just say the game's tied and I don't know, we instead of a 48-yard field goal in the Bay Area, nice weather, is he gonna say let's just kick it or let's try to go for the win and score. You know what I'm saying? And then you don't get it, and then you give them a short field, that type of situation. Or you kick the field goal, then you set yourself up like a Stafford situation where remember we had him down, and then Stafford, all he had to do was maybe go down and win the game, that type of thing. You give Brock Purdy that same situation. What would you be more comfortable in? That's a good question. Like if are you comfortable with us trying to stop them to win the game, Walt? Meaning us stopping Brock Purdy, or are you comfortable that Goff can give us a John Elway type drive and win the game? What do you? Either you had to choose one. Which one
I'll choose golf.
you choose Goff? I would too. I
Yeah.
would too. I don't. I'm not leaving. And we up 3 points,
I mean,
dude.
well, our defense has proven over the past few weeks,
Yeah.
the final 6 games of the regular season was when it started. They've proven that they can play the classical bend but don't break. And they've been pretty damn good as far as red zone defense over the past couple months. So yeah, I mean, I would be confident with both of them. But if you're talking about golf going against a prevent defense, a lot of off zone on the final drive of a game, St. Brown, Laporta, running backs, elite offensive line, I'll roll with that. I'll roll with it. I told you that was a big reason why I was never really scared of the Rams. Because I felt like even though they were moving the ball on us, they was getting in the red zone, they wasn't capitalizing. And it felt like even though we went through our dead streak where we wasn't scoring and doing a damn thing, if they would have been put in a situation where the Rams would have forced the issue and would have scored a touchdown on one of those 3 drives, just one, I had the most confidence in the world that Goff would have been able to lead a drive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's fact.
Because
That's
we
fact.
have the weapons. We have the weapons. We have the offensive line. And for those fans out there that still don't really care for Jared Goff, I understand he's not the most physically gifted, the most talented, not the prettiest to watch, doesn't throw the best football or whatever. I think there's a lot to be said for quarterbacks that are in systems that are great for them.
Mm-hmm.
The same things that we try to say that benefit Goff also benefit Purdy. Purdy may not be great in Buffalo. Purdy might not be great in Chicago. Purdy might not be great here, but he's great for San Francisco. And I think Goff is great for this current situation and his offense that he's been in for almost 3 years now. So
Yeah, I would in that situation. I piggyback what you say. You're right. I chose that too. Offensively, I believe if we had to, you give us one drive to go to the Super Bowl, I think we do it. I think that who you gonna. Taking St. Brown 5 or 6 yards down the field, 10 yards down the field would be a nightmare. Josh
check
Reynolds is
downs
yep.
to
Check down.
Gibbs and yeah.
Gibbs would be a nightmare. Laporta would be a nightmare to handle. Josh Reynolds keeps every game he makes a big catch or two. So like I said, I trust the Lions in that situation. Look what our man's Broken Tubin. He commented off YouTube.
I was about to say that, man.
Thanks, Broken Tubin, for following us, man. We appreciate you still. Even though we
Long
not
time subscriber, man, before they banned us.
yeah, he said I don't think that this moment is on Cam. I think it's on Aaron Glenn. I think that for the most part, I don't know. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know if Glenn, like I said, I think he's risen up more times than not with this team, man. I think everybody can kind of agree
Yeah.
that Aaron Glenn has risen to the competition. So I'm not worried about him scheming nothing up. I'm just more confident in our offense than I am like
Yeah.
our
I
defense
mean,
trying to
as a
stop them.
DC,
You know what I'm saying?
as a DC, his responsibility is to make sure the game doesn't get away from the offense. And that's what he does. The defense is giving up 21 points per game, I think, this season.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So yeah, he does his job, man. If people will stop, they'll just completely kill this guy over passing yards, but won't give him any credit for the run defense. Won't give him any credit for how much Jack Campbell has matured over the second half of the season.
Yep.
How much Derek Barnes has gotten under him.
Yeah.
Let's be real about it, man. They've given him some pieces.
Yeah.
We know they've given him some pieces, but this man is within this defense, maybe a shutdown corner away from this defense being really elite.
Now, do we have I think the James Houston plan. Well, only thing this is what I would like to see. I mean, this week because they made tell me if I'm wrong. If like let's just say you could pitch it to McCaffrey, couple yards away from the line of scrimmage, right, and he tries to go wide and then make a cut. Right. Usually that's how his style of running. I mean, he run in between the tackles too, but usually it seems like he tries to look, wait, set up the block, and then accelerate. My question is, I mean, do you think is it too late to try to have somebody meet him where he's at the point of attack? You know what I'm saying? Instead of him get to the second level
Man,
first. I think Jack Campbell. That's the only thing with Jack. I want to see Jack like
listen,
get in there, chase him down, and grab. You
only
know what I'm saying?
only problem with that, somebody got to meet Trent Williams on. Somebody got to
Oh,
meet Trent Williams first. That's the whole thing because they even at Trent age, they still get Trent out there pulling.
maybe
So
maybe
Alex
Milifabo.
Anzalone got to be on Trent Williams.
No. I'm saying
Oh,
no. I'm saying no. Trent Williams, he getting blocked, bro. He pulling, but somebody could meet him where he at. I'm saying somebody could break free another
who want to
guy
meet?
like
Yeah, I mean, no, I get it.
Melifonwu. You know, what I'm saying somebody physical enough because McCaffrey, a strong dude. He's big, strong boy, man. I mean, McCaffrey done smashed some people like
I
that.
think our
That's stiff
safety is
arm.
gonna have to pull their weight and run support tomorrow.
Yeah,
That's gonna be key. They're gonna have to
yeah.
help them linebackers out a lot.
Yeah, and then I'm interested to see Jameer get is Fred Warner, Dre Greenlaw. Those guys gonna be, is Gibbs. I don't want to say is he physical enough because we know that Gibbs is physical. You know what I'm saying? But I mean that's gonna be a big test. Because remember when Ray Lewis hit Eddie George? Remember I keep bringing that up because I seen Eddie
Yeah,
George damn near retire after those couple hits after he got met in the playoffs by Ray Lewis. So I that's the only thing I'm kind of worried about is who's going to be able to meet the running back at attack and stop what we trying to do. You know what I'm saying? But that's why I like Montgomery because Montgomery he ain't gonna try to juke you out. He just gonna run straight. You know what I'm saying? And maybe he can run over a couple guys. Just what Roy said too. Branch. Dwayne. I see Dwayne King said the same thing. Iffy Branch. Kirby Hughes and yeah, and I agree. You know what I mean? I think you're gonna have to do it. What about a lot of stunts? You know what I'm saying, Walt, that we can bring, disguise some blitzes. Because I really like Houston coming back. I think that they could do some things, you know what I'm saying, in the pass rush department. You know what I'm saying? I think you can hide Houston a
well,
lot. You can hide them, man, and then send them,
Campbell said a couple days ago, might have been Monday, might have been Tuesday, one of those pressers. It all starts with stopping the run with them.
Mhm.
That's it. They don't give a damn who the opponent is. Everything starts with stopping the run. And with that being said, I want to transition over into some predictions
Mhm.
because this is how I think it's going to happen, man.
Yeah, go Walt. Let's go.
I think both teams are going to struggle running the football. In fact, both teams might get held under 100 yards. Just knowing just knowing Steve Wilkes and what he likes to do defensively and knowing our defense and what they like to do and what they're predicated off of, both of these teams pride themselves on stopping the run first. So boom, I see that right there. Unless you
Excuse me.
start talking about some creative ways to get some running backs and carries, because we already know they're going to get Christian McCaffrey his touches. They're not
Mhm.
going to just line them up in the backfield and I for him and just hand them the football. It's going to be a lot of hooks and counters, some swing routes. They're really creative with them. Same thing we tried to do with Jahmyr Gibbs, and we've been pretty successful with it this season. But I think
Yeah.
the running games are going to cancel each other out right there. I think what it's really going to come down to is which quarterback makes the right plays and
Yep.
makes enough big plays for that matter. The defenses, our defense been playing solid aside from giving up big yards to big time receivers, one big time receiver per game. The defense has been solid over the past couple months. People have been begging for Aaron Glenn to make adjustments. He's made adjustments
Yeah.
considering what he had at corner. We've been complaining about the cornerback position all season. This dude is making do with what he has.
Yep.
He got CJ Gardner back. A lot of people around here been calling for him to make big plays. He made a play last week. I think his impact on this secondary, this young secondary, is huge. His confidence, his experience, having Ifiatu Melifonwu moving around, making a bunch of plays, Brian Branch. Even though, and I can't be a hypocrite about this because I went to the stats prior to the Rams game and I said, look at X, Y, and Z, and this is why we better than the Rams, and this is why the Rams can't fuck with us. When you go through a lot of the stats, the 49ers do trump us in a lot of stats. They do.
Mm-hmm.
But when I look at the fact that if you go back and you look at the games that the 49ers lost, 3 games in particular that they lost in a row earlier in the season, which was to Cleveland, was it Cleveland, Cincinnati, and Minnesota, I believe. Those are all 3 teams that blitz, that love to blitz. They're all 3 physical at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah.
And all 3 teams, if I'm not mistaken, ran for 100 yards on them.
Mm-hmm.
So I believe if you're a team that can match physicality with Frisco, because that's a physical ass football team, and that's another reason I believe it's going to be a low scoring game because both teams are physical as hell. So if you can match physicality with them, and we already know that's what we want to do. If you can match it with them and you can run the football and you can stop the run the way we've stopped the run all season and still manage to make enough plays in the passing game, that's the way you win. That's the way we win. And I believe that's the way we're going to end up beating them tomorrow night. I got 19-17.
1917. Facts, bro. Yeah.
Now, I could be completely wrong. We could
yeah.
win 48-40.
Yeah, I'm going a different route. I think the over and under is 51 and a half. I think on this one, set line 7.5 point underdogs in this one. I really do believe it's going to be over game. I think it's going to be. I said I had the Lions 31-21. I really believe that. I think Lions going to win this game 31-21. This is my reasons why. Well, I'm just not going to spew some numbers and don't say what I think. And I think that I think the game will be close. I think during the ebbs and flow of the game, it's going to be matching blow for blow. And then I can see the Lions pulling away at the end, with a touchdown, to win this game and wrap it up, that type of thing. Fourth quarter is going to be huge. I think the fourth quarter is going to be in play in this game. I don't think it's going to be over. I think halftime, we still not going to know who's going to win this game. That's what I believe. I just believe I'm with you with the running. I think San Fran may be able to run the ball because I think that they're going to really make a concerted effort not to put the game in Purdy's hands to begin the game, and I think that McCaffrey may pop one, and it may put some doubt in some people's
You
mind a
don't think
little
they
bit.
see our secondary the way everybody else did, though?
I hope he do. I hope they do because I think that's how we're gonna win the game. Yeah, I mean, that's what I mean. I think if we match them blow for blow, and then they try to come out of it and try to pass it on us, I think that's where we're gonna make them make a mistake, man. I really do, and I think that we're gonna capitalize and win the game that way. Hopefully it don't be hopefully it's a pick six or something like that. But I think Purdy will make a mistake. You know what I'm saying? I do, especially if the game's close, because they're gonna realize that we can tighten up our run defense. It's almost like this. Like I feel that if the game comes to a point to where we have to score, the Lions can score. I believe that. I believe Walt, we can score with anybody. Just because look at the guys we got. We don't even have to name them anymore. It's crazy. So I do think that they're going to really have to score some points to win. And I think the Lions can manufacture a drive better. I think they can manufacture what we both said. We trust Garrett Goff on a 75, 80-yard drive more so than we do Brock Purdy. You know what I'm saying, in that situation. You know what I mean? Just because we got a lot of more options. But what I think it's going to be a fantastic game, man. I really do. I'm looking for Hutch to have a big game to still kind of, we talked about in the pre-show.
He's been hot as of late, too.
Yeah, your best players play in times like this. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to worry about Mahomes. You don't have to worry about Lamar Jackson. You don't have to worry about Christian McCaffrey. You don't have to worry about Amon-Ra St. Brown. You don't have to worry about These guys, Panay Sewell, these guys are ready to play football. You know what I'm saying? They're ready to play. So I trust what we have. Maybe if I lived in San Francisco, obviously everybody there saying we trust what we have. We think we're gonna blow y'all out, that type of thing. So,
Man, if you're a 49ers fan, you have every right to believe in your team.
of
That's a
course,
damn good
yeah,
football team.
of course. But I 31-21. And I say a close game to the fourth quarter. Lions get a late touchdown to ice it. Preferably, I would love to just run the ball, man, and just run. I would just love to see Gibbs. I would love to see Jamison Williams. It would just be so exhilarating to see one of those guys ice the game for us, and just or what would be this would be more gangster. This would be more gangster to have Jared Goff. Just take us to the Super Bowl, man. One drive to win the game, to go to the Super Bowl. That would be like the storybook ending, icing on the cake, the magic carpet ride, which is the Detroit Lions 2023 season, man, to end it on a last drive, and fitting that the very guy that's been much maligned the whole season in Jared Goff, and he takes us to the Super Bowl. That would be really something to see. So I'm kind of hoping, that it could come down to that. And if it does, I would be nervous. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, people thinking of a tip ball or an interception or something like that. I wouldn't be. I'd be totally confident, you know what I'm saying, that we could go down and score. So,
Well,
yeah.
this is gonna go into my final question. Dwayne Keene had comment. Zach Ertz makes a difference also being on the field. And I want to transition over into this for a second. Give me a player on offense and a player on defense, an unsung player.
Yeah, I love it.
Who
Love
could
the question.
potentially pop up and have a big game.
Yeah, yep. Oh, great question. Man, I'm gonna say, because I think it's gonna come down to mano oni mano. I'm gonna say Hutch. I think Aiden Hutchinson,
He
man,
ain't
is.
unsung.
But I'm gonna say,
He
because
all the sung.
but this the thing. People don't like put him in a category like they do Miles Garrett, or these other
You think
dominant.
it's gonna be a coming out party for him?
Yeah, I think Aiden Hutchinson gonna play ball, man. James Houston back. I'm gonna say Walt, because not like you said. I was gonna say CJ Gardner Johnson, because I think he can smell it too, man. I think that guy. You mean to tell me that guy don't? It's CJ ready to play ball, man. He talk a lot of shit, but he backs it up. So I really like him. I was Dwayne Wright. I was gonna say Iffy, but Iffy, I think he's gonna be a factor inside the game. But I'm gonna say Aiden Hutchinson on defense. Offensively, oh man, I'm gonna say David Montgomery. I'm just gonna say he's gonna be huge to the fact. I was gonna say Jahmyr Gibbs, because I just like Gibbs so much. Because from the minute we drafted him, we was kind of happy on draft day, but we kind of thought it was too high. But I won't get into that. But I would say David Montgomery, because I think he's gonna set the tone. Okay, in the first segment. Remember last game, it was Josh Reynolds. Remember Walt setting the tone, getting some early catches, kind of
It
getting
was
golf.
him both, at the beginning of the last two games, matter of fact.
Yeah, yep. And I really think Montgomery's gonna play a big part in this game. I do. So I'm gonna say Dave Montgomery.
All right, Joe says Brian MF and Branch
Mm,
and Josh Reynolds.
yeah,
Makes sense. Roy
yeah,
Brad now says, what's going on, Roy?
yeah.
Hopefully it's Cam Sutton on defense, Jamo on offense. I think the Frisco can be got deep, just like the Rams could have been got deep, just like Tampa could have been got deep. But for some reason, and we discussed this, I believe, the last show, they still don't seem to be comfortable with taking enough shots downfield. I don't
Yep.
understand why.
Yep.
I don't get how you have a guy out there on the field that's that fast, that dynamic, that shifty,
He's open, bro.
and you don't give him 2 quick slants per quarter, or you don't give him an end around, or you don't give him a quick screen.
Mm-hmm.
Like you don't get him involved at all. You don't even make teams respect the fact that he's out there, because you don't even look for him.
Yeah.
I just don't get how you have that speed and you don't utilize it. But I would say that, but just viewing how they've used him and brought him along slowly all season since he came back from suspension, I don't have confidence that all of a sudden they're going to just start feeding Jameson Williams. This train was running along perfectly before Jameson got here. And I think they still want him to kind of like earn his keep, come along slowly. So I don't even have the confidence that they would give him the ball enough to have a breakout game. So for me, I'm going to say Zach Ertz. I think this is a possibility where he's a vet. He's been in this situation many times before with Philadelphia. He still was in good enough shape and athletic enough to still go out there and play for Arizona the past season and a half. He was productive with the little bit of guys that he did have at quarterback. With Kyler Murray being out, he was great for Trey McBride, young tight end from Colorado State. They got potential budding star. Also, his tight ends coach from Arizona is our tight ends coach here. So he had him in Arizona for a minute.
Yeah, Steve Hyden. Yeah.
I think it's easier for vets in this type of situation to come in, give him a handful of plays to run, something that he's comfortable with. He could turn out to have a 4 catch for 30-yard game, maybe one score or something like that.
Yeah. I see you all. Yeah, around the goal line. That's perfect. Yeah. And I can see that too. You know what I'm saying? Getting sprung open, around the goal line is going to be huge. That's why I mentioned Montgomery too, because I think goal line, like you said, Walt, we can't get stuck in not being able to score like the Rams did. So who you got on defense?
Honestly, I think James Houston too. Okay. I'm going to assume he's ready to play now, man. He got hurt. When was that? What game was it he got hurt?
It was a week. Was it Seattle? Was it Seattle game?
I ain't sure. That's what I'm asking
you. Yeah, I think it was Seattle. I think it was a Seattle game.
So he's been
out since week 2, I think.
Yeah, so we talking about the last week of January. I'm assuming he's healthy. Put him in different positions, man. I say this, man. If you decide to throw him on the left, on the blind side, put him at 9 tech. Put him at 9 tech. That's all you got to do. If Trent Williams is busy matched up with Aiden, you can't block everybody. And even though James hasn't played pretty much all season, you don't want a tight end on James Houston. You don't want that.
Yeah, he can get in. He can get in at point of attack. He can turn the corner. That's what I like about James Houston, man. You know what I'm saying? He maybe fits. And that's a good. Hey, y'all listen to Walt, because that was a good pick. I was almost gonna say that too, because I think he's gonna be a nightmare if he fully healthy. He able to bend the way he normally do. As soon as Purdy hikes the ball, he's gonna be uncomfortable. You know what I'm saying? If that happens, so yeah, I mean, I like that. I like it. What everybody's been saying. Somebody like Roy said, Cam Sutton. Roy always on fire with our show, but he always say Cam Sutton and JMO, and I was thinking the same thing on the JMO.
Cam do for the sun to shine on him
for a pick. Yeah, I hope San Fran gets happy like that and think they can like throw the ball on us and just disrespect us like that.
Our safeties are playmakers.
Yeah, and I trust me, we know everybody. Everybody knows the state of the Lions secondary. I watched something last night. They were saying that everybody's worried about the secondary. I'm not. I'm totally not in this game.
They worried about the cornerbacks.
Yeah, but they don't have Deebo Samuel is not Justin Jefferson. You know what I'm saying? Jawan Jennings, who's good. I like Jawan Jennings. Yeah, and Brandon Ayuk. Those guys are good. I can't say that. They got two good receivers, but I think the tandem of Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp may be a little bit better. You know what I'm saying? And they shut them down. I mean, Puka Nacua had a monster game, but Cooper Kupp was a non-factor. You know what I'm saying? So they're going to let somebody going to get off, but I don't know if they're going to have a Batman and a Robin. I don't see it, man.
I think those 3 and 4 safety sets enable you to have a lot of versatility covering some of these guys. Yeah, Deebo explosive in the sense that once he gets the ball in his hands, he turns into a running back. Mm-hmm. Is he explosive quickness-wise? No. Is he explosive speed-wise, just straight line? No. So therefore, I think he's a guy that would match up pretty good for Brian Branch.
Yeah.
He's a physical. Both guys are really physical players. Now I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure CJ Gardner wants to match up with Debo.
Yeah, yeah,
but,
they've been having some words. Yep.
but yeah,
And
I
that's
think
what
we
Joe.
got some guys out there matchup wise. We can do some things out there. We
Mhm.
can now Kittle, no. As
Yeah.
big as if he is, he's not dealing with George Kittle. We don't have an answer for Kittle.
Yeah. Right, right, and that's the only problem, right? Because Jack Campbell, for every good assignment where he's been where he's supposed to be, he's still not the greatest in coverage. Still, you know what I'm saying? Barnes has gotten better, Anzalone's gotten better this year, but like you said, the tight end situation is going to be huge for them. You know what I mean? Because like you said, that is the soft spot in our defense that they could get the intermediate stuff and then keep running McCaffrey, and put together a nice couple drives on us. You know what I mean? That's the situation where I'm hoping we can get some pressure early. I want Hutch to be early and often. You know what I'm saying? If we can. To be able to just make it uncomfortable for Prey, because like you said, the longer the game goes on, and the longer he stays clean and no one even touches him, I think that's now you getting into dangerous territory. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I think it could be an over game, Walt, because let's just say, we have some of those lackadaisical starts where we can't get to the quarterback right off the bat. So then we get down 10 points. So then it's going to force our offense to play, with a little bit of sense of urgency. You know what I'm saying? So I think it may settle down, just like the Rams game. Remember, we scored 6 points in the second half or something like that, or it was 3 points in the second half or whatever it was. Not saying that they shut us down, but it was more so, and we turned ourselves into like being a more defensive team and kind of just like making sure that they kick field goals and we don't, instead of touchdowns. So I think, if our offense gets clicking, I don't know if the 49ers can come back, bro. Just looking at
But
how,
that's
how
the
Green
thing.
Bay, I
I
don't
think it's
know.
key. I think we can't. Our offense can't have a start like that, bro.
Yeah.
And the
Yeah.
defense can't have a start where they put the offense behind the eight ball. If the offense starts slow, the defense got to hold it. They got to hold the water. If the
Mhm.
offense has, let's say, offensively, our first four possessions are
Yeah.
bad possessions, not
Yeah.
necessarily turnovers, but
Yeah. Just
a
three and
3 and
out.
out here,
Yeah.
maybe a 7 play drive punt, another 3 and out. And we had what if we start that way?
That's
The defense got to keep us afloat.
yeah.
Y'all
Yeah.
can't put us if the offense is struggling, y'all can't struggle too and then put us behind 21-0. We haven't done well in comeback mode.
Right.
When Baltimore jumped on us, we couldn't come back.
Green Bay.
When Green
Same
Bay
thing.
jumped on us, we couldn't come back. When the Bears jumped on us, we couldn't come back.
hmm Yeah. So I agree. Like I said, we both expect the Lions to win this game, Walt. I mean, to sit here, on January 28th, bro. I'm saying 2024, and we actually saying now this is how much the stakes have been raised for this team to actually say, you know what, we could uh go to the Super Bowl is nothing short of amazing, man. Like I said, we're gonna do the show Monday, either going to the Super Bowl or not. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna say I won't necessarily say, like, last thing we can probably hit on this before we get out of here today, Walt. I won't necessarily say I would be disappointed if we lost. I wouldn't be like upset about it though. You know what I'm saying? That depends on how we lost. If we went out and just lost 31-10, I'd be pissed. You know what I'm saying? Because I like
Dude, if we
I expect better than that.
we're
But
we're good. We're a good football team. But if we went out there and Frisco did to us pretty much what they done to damn near the rest of the league, there's no moral victories, and I get that. But
mhm.
there's not a lot of shame in losing to the 49ers.
No, absolutely not.
It's
Hell
not.
no. No, I wouldn't say
It's
that.
not.
But it's just we so close, and you can. The disappointing thing
No, I
is
want to
you
win though,
you
of
want to
course.
win. That's all I'm saying. Of course, you're not gonna point the finger and say this guy should be out of here. We lost this game. This guy should be out of here. This guy suck. We lost. We should. I'm not gonna play that game at all, because I think just like my
Fire
Villa Squad
Campbell.
said. Yeah, yeah. Like Villa Squad just said, house money. I mean, yeah, I agree. But you want to steal that house money, you want to flip it, man, and you want to make more. So you want more of what you see, and we just know.
We supposed to be here. That's why I never really considered it house money. I
Yeah.
consider the term house money for people like for teams that ain't really supposed to be there. Like you say, for instance, you the New well, not even necessarily the New York Jets. They not that bad. But let's say you're who was really terrible this season. What team was really
Tennessee Titans. I just use them because I like the Titans. Let's
okay?
just say,
Yeah.
yeah.
Let's say you're
Um,
the Tennessee Titans and you in this game against San Francisco,
mhm,
and you find yourself in a 13-13 game fourth quarter. Now you playing with house money. You ain't even supposed to be here. So you
mhm.
need to be going all out to win this game, man.
Yeah.
Us though, we supposed to be here.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. And then I think Joe Chap put a nice stat up yesterday. I remember it was I don't know if you've seen it while it was superstars on our team under 23 years old. And it's about damn near nine players on there, bro. From Jameson to Aiden Hutchinson, Jameer Gibbs, Penny Sewell, just Brian Branch. I mean, the lines what they've built here is just nothing short of remarkable. The coaching, just from getting. Remember, we were talking about we do our coaches, so always do we do our show top to bottom from the GM to
Oh
the
yeah.
last 53rd man, and getting Scotty Montgomery. Remember, he was a good hire for our running backs coach, man. Steve Hayden, the job he's done with that room with Laporta, and it's just been really
Mark
good.
Brunell too.
Yeah,
Shout
Mark
out to Mark
Brunell.
Brunell, man.
Yeah, Mark Brunell, really good season. Antoine Randall with the receivers. I mean, it really is a team effort.
Your
You
boy
know what
with
I'm
the
saying?
linebackers coach.
Yeah, yes, Kevin Shepard. Yes,
Yep.
yep, Shepard.
The
And
defensive line coach too. They got from Penn State. That defensive line started out rough.
yeah,
Started out real rough, but he made do with what he had. And as the season progressed, that defensive line, when it came to interior pressure,
yes.
got better and got
Mhm,
better. So I think this coaching staff been getting better and better. Same thing with the young talent.
And it's almost like, dude, if you're not good enough, you're not gonna play on this team, man. We're getting to that point, Walt. You know what I'm saying? Like, look at Tracy Walker. We talked about Tracy Walker. Not even he not even playing, bro. He not even with his uniform on. That type of thing. High dollar. Well, he was a high dollar guy. We signed him a couple years ago. Probably won't be back. But what I'm saying is, it's like our talent is upgraded to the point to where like a guy like Isaiah Buggs, for whatever reason, he's not on the roster anymore, which I like Buggs, what he brought. But Benito Jones is more than filled that spot. I think at first, we were getting people that didn't want Benito Jones but he's been good. He really has. What's the Troy Alu? He's been decent. You know what I'm saying? On that weak side. Obviously, like I said, it's a lot of questions on it. Kaminsky and Lee McNeil, and all of these guys, Anzarike, that has been, But I think that the coaching staff we have has coached these guys up enough to this point where the 53 guys we got playing Walt is our best chance to win. And I trust if they say, we going with Anzarike the rest of the way and with Benito Jones and Troy Alu, damn it, it's worked. Whatever they've done within the season, because remember Benito Jones, three of those guys wasn't even playing at the beginning of it. Think about it. Benito Jones wasn't on the roster. You know what I'm saying? Alu wasn't on the roster. Anzarike was still hurt, rehab, and playing maybe 2 or 3 snaps a game. But now they've been in there. You know what I'm saying? Jack Campbell, you could see the growth of Jack Campbell. Remember, he was a deer in headlights at the beginning of the season. Now I can see Jack laying the wood. Every time somebody gets the ball, they lay the wood too. They want to hit them
I
hard. You
mean,
know what I'm saying? It's just,
linebacker is one of the toughest positions to come in the league and just learn,
yeah,
especially in this day and age in the NFL with the responsibility, the amount of responsibility that they
yeah,
give to these linebackers now. So all you got
yeah,
to
yeah,
do is just go back and look at the hit rate
yeah,
or the bust rate on a lot of these linebackers, like over the past 4, 5, 6 years to get drafted in the first round. It ain't been a whole lot of good ones. It
yeah,
really
yeah, yeah.
hasn't. Let me see. See, Villain Squad, what's going on, man? To disagree, Eagles, Cowboys, and 49ers were the ones getting all the love. Nobody but us thought we would be here. I don't think that's really the definition of house money. That's just other people's opinions. Like when I say we supposed to be here, I'm talking about like the actual credibility of the team. This is a credible football team. This is a 12-win football team. They 14-5 right now. That's what I mean by they deserve to be here. We not some Cinderella story. We not some wild card team that won 9 games. We a legit football team that went 12-5, just
Mhm.
like Frisco went 12-5. We ain't no
Sure.
Cinderella story over here. We ain't playing with no house money. We deserve to be here. And I think a
Yeah.
lot of times when you talk about house money, it's like, okay, well, if we lose, it's like a built-in excuse then because hey, we was playing with house money. We wasn't supposed to be there anyway. Nah, we
Mhm.
supposed to be here.
Yeah.
This is a damn good football team, and they supposed to be here. Like, I understand like people opinions about well, the 49'ers and the Cowboys got all the love. That's true. But that's just what people talk about on the radio. That's just what people talk about on TV. That ain't got nothing to do with us. And
Yeah.
the moment you get here, and you and I talked about that during the regular season, if they got to the second round, once you get to the playoffs, first of all,
Mhm.
there's no rebuilding. So, like the Lions fans that still want to talk about, well, we didn't need to make any moves at the deadline because we still rebuilding. How are you rebuilding when you're a 12-5 team?
Mhm.
Now, everybody didn't know that we were going to get to 12-5,
Yeah.
but you eventually got to 12-5 and you reached the NFC championship. You're currently a 14-5 team. There is no house money. We belong there. We belong there because we were better than Dallas. And I
Yeah.
was the main one saying that we were better than Dallas even before the Arizona game where they got their asses kicked way at the beginning of the season. I
Mhm.
said we were better than Dallas.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
Philadelphia Eagles fell off the earth for whatever reasons, whatever issues they got going on, they fell off. But if you're
Mhm.
looking at it for what it is and not being biased about it, because a lot of the national media and other people are biased about it, the Lions have probably been the most consistent football team in the NFC
Mhm.
all
Yeah.
season.
Yeah, and like you said, Walt. I think Ryan Clark been really riding with the Lions. Yeah, and he said the same thing. He was like, "Dude, y'all, for everybody that it keeps telling me, how great the 49ers is." He was like, "The Lions have been like a steady team. They're 22-7. Their last 29. You know what I'm saying?" He just kept rattling off stats every time somebody came at him. So yeah, and I was one member. We did the deadline show, Walt, for free, and I was pissed we didn't get Chase Young. I was pissed. You know what I'm saying? And it just goes to show you sometimes everybody wants you to think because you didn't make a move. Sometimes not making a move was the best move. Sometimes, like not getting Jalen Carter. Remember, people was killing Brad Holmes for that. You know what I'm saying? And rightfully so. We wanted him to. At least I did. I wanted him, and I thought it was a bad move at the time not getting him. But it's just always like, Brad Holmes is made the right moves, but he's pressed. Even Bruce Irvin. Bruce Irvin was a maniac for like 4 games here in Detroit. Remember, he sacked Derek Carr and almost put him in a body bag, dude. You know what I'm saying? That move worked. You know what I'm saying? Bringing in not giving up on Derek Barnes was another thing. I think somebody already said that too. I think Lions
Barnes had
film
a good
specialist
year, man.
Barnes
Yeah,
played really
he
well.
actually
Remember
did.
what we was like, dude, he might get cut. Remember we was doing the roster show and we was
Oh
like,
yeah, before the
we
season
don't know,
started.
yeah, who is going to get cut? And I said I thought Barnes was going to get cut because I thought Jack Campbell
We
and
also thought both of Core was, was
yeah, hell
gonna.
yeah, hell yeah, man, yeah, that a core we can't get. I get that Trey Flowers
Uh,
and a core situation, dude. I'm ready to just move on from the core. But
yeah.
anyway, it's just a situation, Walt, where we could just see this team's growth. And like you said, I think, like you said, the goalpost moves every time for the naysayers. But I think they're moving the goalpost too on expectations now because now they've moved it to the point to we're saying Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like that at first. I
I
wasn't
mean, the
saying
Lions will
Super
still
Bowl.
be the underdog.
Yeah, of
And that's a
course.
good question. Like, well,
Yeah.
if I say we beat Kansas City again,
Yeah.
I
Wouldn't
think
that be
matchup
amazing?
wise,
Wouldn't that be
yeah,
amazing to start the season to play the Chiefs and then end
in the
it in the
season with
Super
them.
Bowl? Now I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't know. It's another. I think I don't know if we can beat the Ravens. I'm gonna be honest with you. Now that
Well, yeah,
we
I was gonna say that. I think we beat Kansas City.
yeah, we're a different team. then we played the Ravens. I don't think they would beat us 38-6, but I don't know, man. I don't think we're I think the Ravens on the mission. I know regardless if they play the Niners, I think the Ravens would beat them. But that's a whole. Hey, I would love to have that talk for 2 weeks. Talk about the Ravens playing them in the Super Bowl or Kansas City. You know what I'm saying? So,
Man, 2 weeks we will have to jump into something else. In
yeah,
the
we had
middle of
to.
that,
We
some
had to talk
point.
about draft. We had to talk, do a mock draft or something. I mean, yeah, 2 weeks is
Yeah,
a long time. I mean, like you said, we
free
break.
agency preview or something. Yeah,
Yeah, hell yeah, yep. Or like you said, and then I think somebody did say, I think the Commanders. I think it's a foregone conclusion that Ben Johnson not gonna be here. You know what I'm saying? I think it looks like Washington wants to hire him, so I think that's why they haven't hired anybody yet. So Aaron Glenn, I don't know. Aaron Glenn might be here next year. You know what I'm saying, bro? I think that and that wouldn't be a bad thing either to talk about that because you would
yeah.
assume before the
I don't want
Super
to lose
Bowl.
both.
Yeah, I don't want to lose
That's too
both.
big of a headache trying to replace both, man.
Yeah, yep,
Look at the
yep,
Philadelphia Eagles.
yeah, yep. Now, yeah, that whole situation went south real quick. So, yeah, well, I mean, I enjoyed the show today, man. I think that we come back here on Monday and just really, really just break it on down. I mean, we either gonna be popping bottles or we gonna be talking about we gonna be talking about our off season already, talking about the draft, or we'll make it do what it do, but. Yeah, it's just been just a magic carpet ride season. Well, I've really had enjoyed this. You know what I'm saying? Being in this scenario. We started this season on Facebook, and we had our YouTube. Next year, hopefully we can go back to YouTube and keep our stuff, authentic and genuine, and how we wanted to do it. Because I know initially you didn't want to do it this way, like starting off. You know what I'm saying? But we kind of made it happen. But you know what I'm saying? So I know we'll get that together, like behind the scenes or whatever, to kind of keep this thing going right. Either way, I mean, Facebook is cool doing it, and I think a lot of exposure either way. You know what I'm saying? But we had our YouTube following that people been kind of asking me like, where y'all been, what y'all doing, but we want to get back to that as well. So because we here for the people, man. You know what I mean? It's just we talking about our team and talking about uh, the game that we really like enjoy it and everything like that. So it shows by every show. So
Yeah. All right, man. Couple comments left. Highland Parker. Highland Parker. That's what's up. It's our time. We worked on it for years. That's what's up. Lions Villain Squad got another comment. Where is it? Where is it at? No matter what happens, that's Ashley from Roy Bradow. No matter what happens, I'm so proud of this team, and it's a great start for the future. It's been the funnest season in forever. That's true. That's true.
mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah.
What else we got? Get through a couple more of these. We use the term house money for the pressure on the team. All the pressure is on San Francisco. I guess, man. You and I discussed this a little bit the other night with Block Sports. Uh, not former, but San Francisco 49er content creator. If Shanahan loses, there's a lot of questions that got to be answered. So if you're looking at the fact that, yeah, I can agree with this with Lions Villain Squad. If you look at the pressure that's been on Frisco all season, the amount of praise that's been heaped on Frisco all season, they've been deemed as the best team in football ever since they destroyed Dallas. And
Mm-hmm.
every time they lost, the media gave them a garbage bag full of excuses. And every time Purdy performed poorly, he got every excuse of the book. And soon as everybody got back healthy and they started back winning again, it went right back to nobody's going to beat Frisco. And then the Ravens crushed them. And then after the Ravens crushed them, they kind of raised some questions about them again.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, considering the fact that since they went to that Super Bowl in 2019 and lost to Kansas City, I don't know what their record is in the playoffs since then, but they failed to get back. And this was supposed to be their best year probably to get there. if they fail to reach the Super Bowl, or even if they get there and they lose, like what if they lost? What if they did get there and they lost to Mahomes again before
Super
they
Bowl.
got there?
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. So I
yeah.
mean, I get there. There is a lot of pressure on San Francisco. We're the young upstart team. The only thing about it I will say is this: for me, I don't believe in shifting the pressure to nobody because in the NFL, especially in the NFL, you're not guaranteed to be back. Now, do I believe this is just some magical carpet ride season for the Lions and then heading into next year and moving forward, we're going to be back to obscurity? No. I think
Hmm.
that this organization is properly constructed now, and they're going to continue to be really good for the next, well, at least for the foreseeable future. But you're not guaranteed nothing in this league.
Hmm.
That's why I think the pressure is on both teams for different reasons. If you're the Lions, you've never been here before. You don't want to get all the way here this close and then lose.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then as a fan
Yep.
base, you arrogantly feel like, well, we'll just be back next year. That ain't
Yeah.
no guarantee.
Yep. It's gonna be a different team. Yep. Yep.
Injury,
Especially if you.
injuries happen too. As good as Cincinnati is, injuries happen.
Yeah.
There's a reason why I think a lot of the losing teams never reach the Super Bowl again, or they have a situation where they don't get back the following year. And we mentioned a few of them early in the show. You know, when you start winning, people start cherry picking all your coaches, all your good players. They start overpaying some of the guys that you thought low key nobody around the league knew about. That's what killed me when fans say, "Oh, we can get this guy for the low, or we can get him to sign for this and that," because don't nobody really know about him. All these teams around the league know about every player on our roster.
Mm-hmm.
If you
Yeah,
think teams
for
around
sure.
the league don't know about Iffy, y'all crazy.
Yeah,
If you're gonna
right.
get some offers. Now, what it comes down to is whether or not the Lions are gonna pay him.
Yeah, Lane
That's something you gotta
McNeil.
think about too.
Yeah, it could be. We could be about McNeil, Iffy, and which homeboy you just said. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you're right. Well, if coordinator change too. Let's just say we do lose Ben Johnson. You know, it might be a situation where Josh Reynolds might not be here because the other coordinator might bring another receiver with him that if he's on another team or somebody
Yeah,
becomes
yeah.
available or we draft. You know, so it's a
Donovan
lot of
Peoples
questions.
Jones.
Yeah. So, like you said, it's just with the window, you got to kick the door in, man. I think Philly fell victim to that. And like you said, the Niners will too if they somehow don't win it or whatever.
The only thing with
Be
Philly is
questions.
that organization been there so much.
Yeah, they winner.
So
That's a winning
yeah,
organization. That's what's
yeah.
so surprising that they didn't get to
The
where we
Chiefs
thought
too.
they was going to go. Yeah, because my pick was Philly. I thought Philly this year
Me
coming in
too.
this season, I had Philly winning it all. I thought the Eagles were the best. You know what I'm saying? I thought they was going to win the Super Bowl. I had Philly and Kansas City in the Super Bowl this year, but um,
I had
I'm
Philly
sorry.
and
No,
Cincinnati.
no, I'm sorry. I take the back. I'm sorry. I misspoke. I remember I did the video. I did a video and I said it was the Eagles and the Jets, if I'm not mistaken. I had the Jets. Boy, was I wrong. I had both my teams flamed out. I
You
thought the
ain't know
Jets.
that was gonna happen, man.
This is what I thought. Well, I thought Aaron Rodgers was just gonna ride in on a white horse and take that team to the Super
And
Bowl,
pull a
man.
Stafford, huh?
That's what I
Yeah.
thought. You know what I'm saying? I just thought it would be cool to see him win in another green uniform, but not the Packers. But yeah, it just shows you, like you said, how stuff. But I do think the only thing you can say with the Lions organization is they are set up to be good. You know what I'm saying? Walt,
Yeah,
from the free
yeah,
agent money we got to the players to the draft.
yeah.
We listen, bro. We got all our draft picks this draft, and we got 2 second-round picks again. You know what I'm saying? So if you look at the draft, free agency potential, and the talent we already have, you can assume and say, well, man, and like you said, unless it's a major injury or two, that the Lions should be. We don't know if they're going to be
You
Super
know
Bowl
what?
good, but they.
I think you need a lot to go positive in your favor too. Like
Yeah,
if you look at the Chiefs and how long the Chiefs window been open, of course they hit on the quarterback, which is the most important thing. But great head coach and continuity within that coaching staff. Like
yeah,
they managed to keep Bieniemy's gone now, but for the most part they managed to keep a lot of that coaching staff together. So continuity matters. Drafting too. They let Tyreek Hill go. And what did they do? They immediately replenished the defense. They figured, you know what? The
we got
big
to
play
stop
threat is
people.
gone now. So now
Yep,
we got to
let's
be able to
stop.
stop people more. Yeah. So
Yeah,
if you're and you got to be a good organization, ran well from the top down. So I agree with that. I do think that this team is trending 100% in the right direction. Um, the only thing is this, and it happens to every GM. What
Uh,
happens when we have that one dud draft? No GM is batting 1,000.
yeah.
Every GM has one or two drafts over like a 10-year period where it's
That
like as good as as good as the Patriots were, they had a few stinkers.
Yeah. Yep.
So how do you handle those seasons where you don't draft well and maybe you need to depend on free agency a little bit more than you may have to? But all of these are great problems to have, man, because we're a good football team. We ain't used to talking like this, man.
I know. Look at that. Let's
Look
see
at the
for the.
positivity. I ain't smiled this damn much during the Lions season, bro. Ever.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yep.
Look at
I
the
mean,
bullshit we used to talking about during this time of day. I mean,
yeah.
time of year, man.
Last year, I think we did because something popped up on my memories. I think we did a show about the best prospects in the Big Ten or something like that. I think that was the show we did, or the ACC or something like that. We was already doing draft. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. What's up, Fidel? Fidel. Yeah. Have you heard? It's a big game tomorrow. Yeah. Yeah. I know, Fidel. We on cloud nine right now. Can't believe it. Yeah. It's gonna be very interesting. Like I said, soon as the game.
Well, V
We'll be
Squad,
focused.
thank you.
Yeah, we'll be focused on on what we need to do on the off season. But hopefully all them shows come up in about
3
more
weeks.
weeks. 3 weeks, bro. Let's not even like you said, between the Super Bowl, we gotta think of something because it's like the
It's
Super
gonna be
Bowl,
dry, boy.
yeah, dry season. So yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
that's what's up.
it's a ton of stuff we can always talk about that week,
Mm.
and then jump into the actual Super Bowl because we'll have 2 weeks to go through and watch old games of the Chiefs or watch old games of the Ravens or whatever. And
I'm watching Chiefs and Ravens right now, 2018. Um, yeah. I would just go ahead, Walt. I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm just thinking
no,
about
no,
it
no.
there. Yeah. Now, Fidel, we just said the X factor for tomorrow. I thought it might be David Montgomery on offense, and then I was saying Aiden Hutchinson on defense. But yeah, I agree. Pound the rock. That's how you're gonna have to do it with Montgomery, Fidel. That's what I believe. It's just a situation where I just think I'm glad if I'm just this gonna be my final thing, man. I'll say that we be here all day talking about the Lions, dude. But I just think that we can stay true to who we are. You know what I'm saying? We don't have to change. That's what I like about Campbell too. He don't change nothing. He does. You know what I'm saying? He like, listen, this is who we are. He said it to him plenty. He said it numerous amount of times. To Fidel, I said the same thing. I think you really have to get to him early, man. I think Hutch is going to be key. He's going to have to, you know what I'm saying, Walt? An early first quarter sack, a couple pressure. Maybe don't get him down, but just make sure you're in the vicinity. You know what I'm saying? Early, I think it's going to be key to get off the ball quick, man. If I was coaching our team, I would tell my guys get off the ball quick on defense. You know what I'm saying? Hands up, get off the ball quick. Let's make this guy uncomfortable from the start. And I think it'll change the whole. And I think that's what they're probably telling their guys too, obviously, to make Jared Goff uncomfortable. I mean, that's going to be the key to win because one of these two quarterback can't hide behind like a good defensive performer. I think one of these guys going to have to make some plays to win the game. So, it's going to be interesting. Well, can't wait.
Yeah. All right, man. As you said, man, we done had these people long enough, so let's get these people out of here. Like I said, less than 24 hours away from the game. You and I both laid out our predictions for everybody who just tuned in and did not hear those predictions about a half hour ago. I'm taking Detroit in a tough, hard-hitting, low-scoring game, 19-17. So I'm taking the under on that. And you had them at what?
30 Lions 31, Niners 21.
You got the Lions covering, boy, and winning by 10.
Mm-hmm.
Let's hope it happens that way, man. I think a couple weeks ago we discussed what would you rather do: win the NFC Championship on your home field, or go to San Francisco and do it on the opponent's home field. I was the only one on that show that said I would prefer to go to San Francisco and win it on their field.
You did too.
And
I said,
yeah, man. And shit, we got an opportunity to do it, bro. We got an opportunity to do it. No one thought we would be here. at the beginning of the season, going back to this off season, but we here and might as well make the most of it. You ain't guaranteed to be here tomorrow in their terms, which will be next year. So go Lions, one pride.